This is the HR Fest online. Thanks for joining us. Today, we are going to have an interesting topic, how to make people smile on Monday morning. My name is Ádám Horváth. I'm the co-founder of Brandfizz from Hungary. And I'm also the board member of the European Association of Employer Branding Agencies. And we have a special guest for today, Johan Driessens from Belgium. He's the CEO of Branded.Careers, the leading employer branding agency in Belgium. He's also the board member of the European Association of Employer Branding Agencies. And he has a special title. He is the 2018 Global Emerging Leader, Employer Branding Leader. And welcome into the show. Thanks for accepting our invitation, Johan.
Thank you very much, Adam. Good to see you, man.
My first question is about the main topic. What does it mean to you? How to make people smile on Monday morning? Because this is your main title. Every email, you can see this one strong sentence. What is the story behind?
Well, I absolutely truly believe that a work environment, Adam, needs to add life quality for people. So that is actually our big mission with Branded.Careers. What we're doing in employer branding all around the world. This is helping companies to reinvent themselves in employers that add life quality to people, not just providing jobs or tasks or stuff like that, but actually make sure that they create an environment where people can grow, feel good, feel a little bit at home in a professional environment, and that all this time that you spend during a lifetime, like we know that it's like 90,000 hours we'll spend in a lifetime in a work environment, that it adds quality to people's lives, that it's something more than just a job. So, and you can do that in multiple ways and with different strategies, but the aim is always to create an environment where people come in on Monday morning and they really want to be there instead of they must be there. That is the big idea behind it. Instead of must be there, you really want to be somewhere in a work environment.
And your title, CEO, is not Chief Executive Officer. Tell me the details.
well, I'm not a traditional or a classic CEO, so I am not the Chief Executive Officer, even though I am for multiple companies. But for me, people, they always say you are like the Chief Enthusiasm Officer or the Chief Experience Officer, because I'm more likely to they say it's like the Chief Enthusiasm Officer. And that has everything to do with the number one energy I like to find in any company in the world is enthusiasm. Is enthusiasm, passion, hunger for what you do to make a company grow. And it's so important that you feel that kind of energy. So yeah, if we look for that in companies, I also believe you must walk your talk and you start with your own enthusiasm, no?
Cool. Johan, you are an international speaker. You are traveling all around the world, speaking about employer branding, about how to create a good work environment, and how to make people smile on Monday morning. When somebody asks you about employer branding, how can you sum up? What is it?
Well, for me, the definition of employer branding is absolutely defined by the kind of employee experience you create every day. I truly believe that there is no successful employer branding without great employee experience. It's about organizing that work environment in a very particular way that will create all the ingredients to do successful employer branding. What I saw over the past years is that a lot of companies still are focused on employer marketing. They tell stories to the outside world, but these stories most of the time have a big gap with the real work environment, with the daily environment of people. So there is something to say about that. I believe that employer branding is actually, in a very authentic way, create a work environment where the right talent wants to be every day.
We also hear the expression employee experience. How can you improve the employee experience? What are the main pillars? And if somebody is listening to us and he or she is a CEO or an HR leader, what are your suggestions? Where to start if we are building a strong employer branding, or if it's an aim to build a strong employee experience, where to start?
Yeah, I think when we talk about employee experience, Adam, that is something that it's a word that is thrown around everywhere in the world when it comes to employer branding nowadays. But we must understand what we mean by experience, because that is the definition of that is probably the key to organize it very well. And the way I see it, and the focus we always have when it comes to experience, is that we translate it in what kind of professional and personal memories you can give your employees. What is the thing you organize that they will remember in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now? What is the moment they are still talking about with their friends? If somebody asks them, hey, how is it at your work? What are the moments that people are sharing with others? What are the moments that people are proud of? What are the moments that surprised people? What are the moments where they got that transforming insight for themselves or for business or whatever? What are the moments that brought people together? That is what I believe you have to focus. That is how you have to transform employee experiences. Look at it as you are the provider, the facilitator of memories for people. And what is the impact of any memory you want to give to your employees?
And how can you create an employee experience which can affect positively the business? How can a good employee experience affect the business?
Well, if people feel good, you know, there are so many studies, Adam. You also provide the world with a lot of nice insights and stats on when people feel good, they will be more predictive. They will engage more with the company. They will have they will share more of your company. So in so many ways, it will add to the growth of the company. But it's always a difficult discussion because we always want to measure a lot of stuff. And if it comes to employee experience, you can measure a few things, but there is also something that I like to call happy profit for a company. And that is actually very difficult to measure, because you can measure a lot and then you have data, but then you actually know what happens, but you don't know why it happened. And my suggestion, my advice for any company in the world is to create also environments with a lot of feedback, where you really talk with people, where you understand what worked for them, what not, because we cannot get that out of a survey or anything. So we need to learn how to talk with our employees, to know how their personal dynamics are. And even that, if I say personal dynamics, this is also a very strategic thing to look at. If it comes to employee experience, we always say one size fits one. It's a very individual process. People are different. You cannot create one experience that works for everybody. You have to look at it also in a very individual way. What does what mean for any employee in your company? So it also needs a very individual approach. And that is not so easy.
Yeah, it sounds complex how to scale up strategies and activities,
Yeah.
even if you have to make successful the whole company and reach everybody inside an organization. But on the other hand, this is a very individual form to support people. Can you explain a good example or a case study regarding to employee experience? Who is great in employee experience? Can you share with us a case study or a good example?
Well, I think there are probably many cases of good employee experience all around the world. You will find them, but I think that's an interesting question, because if we look at employee experience organized in other companies, and that is maybe something that is interesting for your question, is you can look at it and get inspired by it, but you cannot copy it. And that is why I'm always very careful by giving examples, because yeah, it could work somewhere, but maybe it will not work in your company. And then again, I think, and that is something that we discussed also a lot, Adam, is that if you really want to make this work, employer branding should be a business function. It is something that you need to adopt on a very strategic level, because 2 minutes ago you said this is a complex situation because it's individual. True, that means if you make it a business function, then you probably can also organize all the right stakeholders in your company and get managers involved, team leaders involved, and then you will get a lot of input from within your company. I see a lot, and that is what I see in employer branding, is a lot of copy-paste concepts where they saw, hey, in this company, they do something fun and everybody is telling about it. Don't just copy any employee experience. Find out what is the right employee experience that aligns with your cultural story of the company, with the ambition of your company, with the type of people that are in your company. There are so many different parameters that you need to look at on a strategic level to find out what is the right employee experience for your company.
If a leader, a CEO, wants to make the people smile on Monday morning, and there is a huge goal to build a great workplace with extraordinary employee experience, where to start?
Where to start is by absolutely walk your talk and start getting really interested in your employees. Don't look at them as a sort of commodity within your company, people that come in, do a job, you make money out of it, and then they go home and the next day they do it all over again. If you really want to make this work, it is very important as a senior leader, as a CEO of the company, to look at it in a very empathic way. You have to approach this with a lot of emotional intelligence and with a real heart for your employees, because you cannot fake that. If people feel this, if it's not real, they will feel it, and then it will be so more difficult to create a real strategy around it. So if you are a senior leader of a company, start getting interested in a very real way in the people within your company. Not employees, people.
and who is responsible for this topic, for the employee experience? The number one leader, the HR, the marketing, the internal communication? Who is responsible for the employee experience?
Well, at the end, probably everybody will be responsible, from the cleaning lady to the CEO, because everybody has input in that, in the strategy. Everybody needs to be involved in it. But I think that if you really want to land it, then the end responsibility will be with the CEO. I think is that they absolutely make the decision to create an experience within the company on a higher level. When it starts there, when you feel that senior leaderships have your back on how you feel in your work environment, that is where it gets credible. If it's only HR or another department, then it will have a little bit of lack on that credibility. So I think that the highest leader in a company should take that responsibility.
And regarding to the current situation, the last months, employee experience is a top priority, because every leader wants to engage and retain the team. What are your suggestions where to go in the near future? And yeah, we have to mention this situation because it's an unexpected situation. Where to go? What are the next steps?
Well, Adam, you know me as a very enthusiastic guy. So even when there is a global crisis, I try to look at it in a very positive way, even though I truly understand. I'm also an entrepreneur, so I understand what the challenges are today for companies, even in my companies. But I also think that we have a huge opportunity now, that we can look at this situation in a very positive way, because there is something going on. A lot of things are changing. We obviously don't go back to the old normal. Things will be changed forever. So we need to look at it in a very interesting way. There is this famous quote where somebody, I think it was Churchill, said, never waste a good crisis. Yeah, let's look at it in this way. And the interesting thing with a crisis, it always comes with some kind of culture shock, because you wake up and the world is different. It is just like that. Things changed. It's not like you used to anymore, and things are changed. So that also means that this new situation absolutely needs a new meaning, because nothing happens and has a meaning from itself, Adam. Everything that happens, we give it a meaning. And there is a huge opportunity for companies right now. If you want to be a great employer, help your employees create and define the right meaning of the situation. And you can choose to do that in a very positive way. You can choose to make sure that this new situation helps you reinvent the way you work with people, the way you work with clients, your identity as a company. You can really take this moment to redefine it for the better and make it positive and engage people more. And you do that by helping people understanding in a better way, and even better, give it together with them, give it a meaning. What does it really mean, this situation? And I understand it's difficult because a lot of companies are struggling right now. So how do you transform that into a positive meaning? But there always is. You can always do something very positive with it. For example, even if it's difficult, honesty could have a very positive effect for people. That if leaders from a company are honest and real with their employees, they will feel that like they will feel it like people have respect for them, because they don't lie about the situation, they are clear about the future. And by being honest with them, probably they will work harder for the company to make sure that they come out of this crisis, at least in a normal way.
Perfect final words. Johan, I would like to thank you for being here, and thanks for the meaningful thoughts regarding to the main topic today, how to make people smile on Monday morning. Thank you very much, Johan. It was a pleasure.
Hey, thank you, Adam. The pleasure was all mine. Thank you for this invitation. I hope this will help companies in your country.
Thank you very much. See you.
Thank you, Adam.